Library here, and I wanted to do a video with you on another desert plant here in Arizona. It's called the Creosote Bush, and I will take you out and we will take a look at some of the creosote bushes in my area, in my yard here. And if anyone local would like to harvest some, just contact me. I would be happy to help you out with that. It's just in abundance in the desert here. Today what I want to show you is what you can do with this plant medicinally. Some people actually will take it internally by making a tea, but you want to use such a small amount of this herb because it gets very bitter, it's very strong, and if you have any serious liver issues, you want to be super careful about taking this internally. Most of the time when people drink this as a tea, it's to cleanse toxins, so you might want to do it for 3 to 5 days and then let your body take a rest from that. We don't always want to be in a detox mode because then we're not absorbing nutrition as well. And when you do make a tea, if you do, it's a cold infusion, meaning you pour cold water over it and let it steep for, maybe an hour or two. Okay, but we're going to talk about how to use this topically. So one thing that happened to me recently, and it happens often when I'm in the yard, we have a lot of desert plants, a lot of cactus needles, and especially on the prickly pear, you get these little tiny needles that you can't see to tweezer them out. And looking online, there's a lot of remedies for, using a tweezers or using tape to rip them off. Glue seems to be a popular one, using Elmer's glue, put that over the area, and after it dries to peel it off. I haven't tried that method, but what I did have on hand was creosote, and the reason that this came to mind was because it has a drawing effect when you use it topically. So even with splinters and things of that nature, if you put it on topically, it will draw that out to the surface of the skin. And so I make a salve with this. I sell this online if you're interested in the products that I make using this plant. And so what I personally did was I took that salve and I just doused my hands in it, and then I put on some latex gloves for an hour. And it did the magic, and it just pulled all that out. When I took the latex gloves off, threw them in the trash, I no longer had any of those needles in my hands. So I thought it was kind of a miracle and wanted to share that with you. But if you don't have salve and you don't want to purchase some salve and you have this in abundance in your yard, this is what you can do. So I have this little mortar and pestle kind of a contraption, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip off a lot of these leaves in here. The leaves are basically the medicinal part of the plant, and we're going to use olive oil as the carrier method here. Oftentimes when you're using tea, of course, you're using water. In this case, when we're using it topically, we're going to use olive oil. Okay? So olive oil is going to be that method of extracting the medicinal parts of this. So I'm just kind of breaking this up. And now I'm going to pour this olive oil over it. This is kind of a quick method. And then I'm going to just press it and work on this for, 10 minutes or so to try to extract a lot of that. And we're going to make kind of a poultice with this, using the herb and the oil and everything. Now, if you have a little bit of time, a great way to do this is to warm it on the stove, your herb with the olive oil. Don't let it get to a simmer, that's too hot, but just let it warm for several hours, and then you can actually strain off the herb, and that oil is going to have all the medicinal value in it. And you can bottle that oil and just use it for a lot of different skin conditions like rashes, a first aid kind of a treatment. If you get sunburn, it's a great healing remedy to take care of that sunburn. And also things like abnormal growths and warts and things like that, because it has, again, that drawing effect. It's going to pull that wart to the surface before it actually heals it. Now that process can take several weeks, and so that's why I make a salve, so it's a little bit thicker. I use beeswax to thicken the oil, and then you can put a glob of it on your skin issue with a Band-Aid, let it work all night, and that's probably a quicker, more effective method of using it. I have clients that use it for basal cell. It's really great because it just pulls that cancer to the surface of the skin before it actually heals it. And they've gone to their doctor who is going to, put them under the knife and get rid of that basal cell. And after using creosote, couldn't find it any longer. So really great product. So as I've been talking to you about creosote, I've just been working this creosote into the oil. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to grab some cheesecloth because I think this might be a good method for this. So I've got some cheesecloth here. And so let's just say I have something that I want to work with. I am actually just going to take the oil and herb, all of it, right? And I'm going to put it on whatever kind of skin issue I have. I'm going to maybe put some cheesecloth or another bandage over that. Maybe even wrap it in some saran wrap or something, kind of lock in that heat so that it can work. And so this is kind of a quick, easy way to work with creosote if you don't want to get fancy and get jars and that sort of thing and make your own salves and oils. If you don't have any of this on your property and you live in Arizona, you can go out to the desert and harvest some of this, or get on Nextdoor and ask some of your neighbors if they have any creosote. I'm more than happy to let you harvest off of my property. I have so many, probably 30 bushes, and I know many other people would as well. It's one of the most medicinal plants, I think, in the country. Works on so many levels. And it really helps to harmonize yourself with the heat here in Arizona. This is really drought tolerant, and so it makes sense that it would help us with the heat as well. So I hope that was informative. I hope it was helpful. And come back and see me again for some more tips and tricks. Take care.